Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early. It's 3:10 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. If you watch my channel and it's before 3:30, you know there's a story that I really want to talk about. I get it, you guys. The people that watch my channel know that I'm up since about 2 a.m. And if I'm here before 3:30, that means I found a story quick and I was rushing to get out here and I had a lot of ideas. I'm very rambunctious this morning, and boy am I. I also told you guys, anybody watching my channel knows I talk about empathy a lot. I think some people are blessed with the ability to put themselves in other people's positions, to walk a mile in other people's moccasins, as we Native Americans would say. Some people don't have any empathy at all. Why am I saying all this? Because Jeff Molina, now you guys know I'm not a big fan of UFC, Ultimate Fighting. Jeff Molina, an Ultimate Fighter, I think he's a flyweight. He caught a lot of flack a little while back during Pride Month because he wore a pair of shorts with the rainbow on them. And he caught a lot of flack for that. There's a lot of people saying, we don't need to see that. It's virtue signaling and all this other stuff. Now, just today on TMZ, apparently a video leaked out of him performing an act on another male, and it's come out that he is bisexual. Okay, and of course, with the profession that he's in, there's been a lot of kickback on that. I read a lot of the comments. I'll have links down below so you guys can see the comments on some of the comments on Twitter. I want to talk about this today. There's something else that I wasn't planning on talking about that I'm going to talk about, that I'm going to admit. Whoa, what's he going to say? Okay, right down below, there from the National Institute of Health. If you guys ever heard of Alfred Kinsley, very famous researcher, sexual researcher, very well established, very well respected sexual researcher. And right down below, and I've known I've heard this whole report, this study before about male sexuality, pre-adolescent male sexuality. 60%, at least 60% of young males have had male-male intimacy. 60%. Okay, and then on top of that, there's a group that that know they're attracted or would act or won't. There's an additional percent above that 60%. They just haven't acted on it, but have considered it. Okay, 60%. Now I've known this. Now I'm going to talk about something really quick, and this is all going to get to Jeff Molina and empathy. And the people that say, "Look, I don't care about your sexuality. Just don't stick it in my face. Don't talk about this and God and all that stuff." I'm going to talk about that too. And I think I'm going to use Irish people to just because yesterday was St. Patrick's Day. I love Irish people. I have nothing against Irish people, but yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, and I'm trying to find something to help people along with their empathy. Okay. When I was young, I lived out in the middle of the forest, lived out in the middle of the woods, right? And the only neighbor I had was a boy my age. All right, we were 10, 11, 12 years old, I think, right? And we would find magazines. I've talked about this before, on the side of the road. And at that age, you're very curious, and your drive is already pretty high, and you get curious. You're alone, and there's no girls at that age. You don't even know how to talk to a girl. There's curiosity and experimentation. I admit, I can relate to this. Okay, move forward to when I'm 14 years old. I moved to another house in another town. I can become friends with two other boys my age, 14 years old. And I'm walking with one of the guys. And he starts saying about, we're talking about magazines and stuff. And he starts talking about how this happened to him with our third friend who wasn't with us. He said, yeah, me and this dude, we've done that. We've experimented before. And I was like, wow, really? I thought I was the only one. I thought, wow, it was kind of a relief, Then I find out, the third guy finds out that the second guy told me that. and says, "Oh no, we were just saying that just to get you to admit it." This really happened. So the two of them turn on me and say, "Oh, you admitted that. We just said that to get you to admit that." So I feel betrayed. Okay. Moving forward to about a month later, we have a fort in an old camper. We're all camping out. Since I'm the new guy, I'm sleeping on the floor in a sleeping bag, and they built bunks, one on the bottom and one on the top. And of course, we have a stash of men's magazines. That was our, at that age, that's a big thing. Well, it was back in the 80s. We're looking through them and everything. Turn the lights out. We go to sleep. Right now, I'm sleeping on the floor. I'm having a hard time sleeping, and I hear creaking right next to my head, right here on the floor. And I'm like, I know there's somebody standing right next to me on the floor. So I just I just take my hand and I swipe it like this really quick, because I know there's somebody right there. And I hit a pair of legs, and I feel the legs. Then I realize the legs are facing away from me, right? And they're facing towards the bottom bunk. It was the person my friend from the top bunk climbed down, and he was facing the bottom bunk. Or I should say his pelvis was level with the guy on the bottom bunk. You see what was going on here, right? So I don't say a word, right? Because I'm already kind of ostracized from these guys. Oh, the lights all come on, the flashlights come on, and these guys just lay into me. "You're a freak, man," because they were caught. They were caught, and they freaked out. And the flashlights are all on me. They're now there's no sleeping for the rest of the night because they're scared that I found out their secret. And I'm just like, just leave me alone, guys. I can't go home. It's miles to my home. I don't have a car at that age or anything. And they got these flashlights on me all night. "Dude, you're a freak, man. You're a freak." And I can't remember. They were saying all this other stuff because they were caught out. And I didn't care. I really didn't care because they had already admitted to me. Then they backed out. Okay, so this happened to me. So I have empathy. Plus, I have a little experience with this. Okay, let's move forward to Jeff Molina. A lot of people in these comments say, "We don't want this stuffed in our face." Some of these people in the comments said, "What do you want, a special award because this? Do you think it's some kind of accomplishment because you're gay?" and stuff like that. Okay, imagine this. First of all, just yesterday was St. Patrick's Day. Imagine if people said the same thing about that. "Look, I can't stand St. Patrick's Day. Look, who cares if I'm sick of people wearing green. What do you think? You're special? It's because you were born in Ireland. So what? I'm sick of seeing this. But it's a lot more than that. Picture this. Growing up, this is just part, like I'm an artist, right? What if I couldn't tell people I was an artist or tell people that I'm Native American? Growing up, these people can't tell their parents, their fathers, their brothers, their friends. They have to keep this. This is a natural part of them. Just they have a different part of them than other people. Just a natural part of what they like and don't like. But they can't talk about it. They can't talk about who they are. They can't say a word. As a matter of fact, they have to hide it. They might get kicked out of the house. Their father might turn on them. The brother, imagine that. Imagine you're being scared because your family is going to turn on you and living with that fear every minute, every hour, every day, every Christmas, every birthday. That there's your father and you're giving him Father's Day cards and everything, but you can't tell him who you really are. You have to hide who you are from your own family. Imagine that, because you're afraid they're gonna turn their back on you, or worse, they might even beat you up, kick you out of the house. You're 11, 12, 13, 14 years old. You can't tell a soul. You can't in high school. Your best friends. You're on a basketball team, whatever. You can't say a word. They're all talking about girls, but you don't feel this. You're just different. You're different. But you not only you have to hide this. You have to hide a basic part of your natural personality for fear that you're going to get beat up. You're going to be ostracized like I was, called a freak and all this. Like I said, I am heterosexual, but along with 60% of all males. And like I said, there's other studies. And I think a lot of these guys in these comments on Twitter that are talking about, that are against him, have had these experiences and are still living in this fear that what happened was just part of life or just natural. And, it's a fear and a big part of hypocrisy too. Imagine living your whole life that you just can't be yourself. There's a certain, and a lot of these people, because I'm also a recovering addict, a lot of these people, because I've seen this at meetings and groups, a lot of gay and bisexual people end up in recovery from addiction because they turn to drugs and alcohol because they can't admit who they are. They have to hide. Imagine living the stress that you have to hide something like that your entire life. But imagine just the relief where you just say, look, this is who I am. And look, there's other people that feel like me. And we're just like you guys. We're normal. We're just the same. We're not evil. God doesn't hate us. We're not trying to come for your kids. We're just normal freaking people. Imagine the relief that would feel like. This is empathy. Some people just don't have empathy, and some people are hypocrites and righteous. And if you just take a second and think about that, I think you understand the people they don't want anything extra. And that's why I say I feel that a lot of conservatives are conformist because they don't want everybody has to be all the same and like the same thing and speak the same way in the same language and worship the same God. And anybody that doesn't do that, they are scared of. That's rocking the boat. Well, I'm a boat rocker. Try using empathy. Imagine living like that. These people don't want anything extra. They just want to be treated equal. They're not saying that they've accomplished something. It's a relief just saying, look, they've been hiding this their whole life. They've been living in fear their entire lives from their family, their friends, and everybody, just who they are as a person, just a good, regular person, just like everybody else. And they can't admit that. And it's a relief when they finally do. Try having a little bit of empathy and a little bit less judgment and hypocrisy, you guys. All right. And women. Have a good Saturday.